On today's Minute of the Apes, we really, really promise we're actually starting for real now.
Take your sticky paws off me, damn dirty ape!
Exercise would an ape make a human down. Then talks. With a divine bound.
We are determined to know what the apes want. War or peace?
They are a good human, is a dead human!
And if it is man's destiny one day to be dominated, then, oh, please, God, let him be dominated by such as you.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. And I'm proud that on the first time through that, after so long off, after having started, I got it right on the first time.
No do-overs.
This is Todd. That was Sean.
First take Todd.
Now, I got to ask a question, Sean. I look on our lovely little Zoom call here, and there's some kid over here with headphones on next to the biggest phone.
Reddest.
With a big old speaker on it.
Yeah.
Who is that guy?
I believe it's a Richard.
Wait, what?
Richard.
What's throwing you about this phone next to me in my Zoom?
It's just, damn, that is a big phone.
It is a giant light with a phone glued to the side of it and a couple of buttons stapled on. I mean, it is. It's a crazy looking something you wouldn't pick up at Home Depot, but somebody fashioned with like stuff they had lying around.
Somebody kit bashed it together, yeah.
We had a lot of fun with over the past few attempts to get this going again with Richard doing the Zoom stuff and putting images behind. We've had Gaping Ape, we've had a few things, but somehow...
I'm sorry, Gaping Ape just sounds so terrible.
It doesn't.
I had to go to the doctor for my Gaping Ape. I'm sorry.
But now we look here, and it really looks almost like he has a little bit of Hal over his shoulder, kind of staring at him. It's terrifying.
I'm also getting a techno vibe of Rocky Horror Picture Show on its side. Those are big red lips.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mentioned to the boys earlier the reason there's a phone in this particular shot. Now, this phone won't be relevant until a few minutes from now. But if you're really paying attention to these minutes, phones are kind of the star of this week. We get a lot of the actors, but phones are used very heavily in the next little bit.
That is incredibly true, and they are phones that look like the phones that we all grew up with, yet they have no cords attached. Just gotta say.
Well, do you remember you had to have a contract to actually rent one of these phones because they were so expensive to buy?
No.
Do you guys not remember this?
Oh, I of course didn't pay for the phone. You know, I guess my parents paid for it, so I don't know.
No, these type of Princess phones you had to rent from the phone company. This is before what's it called? Before they broke up the Bell systems, and so these phones were some insane amount of money, like $100, $200, something like that. It'd be fun to go back and research that. But my parents rented their phone.
I remember hearing stories, I want to say up into the 80s or maybe 90s, of telephone companies still charging older people who didn't know that they could go buy a phone because they still had the plan going. So why take away money that they're giving to us?
It's kind of like It's kind of like renting your cable box.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go figure that the phone companies screwed people. Anyway, it's a different podcast. We are at what minute, Sean?
Minute 46.
Why don't you tell us what's going on here?
All right, we're going to start minute 46 with the governor saying contains the name of every ape over the past year who's been guilty of an overt act of disobedience, and ends with shipment 505-1 from Indonesia. And that's it. We'll find out tomorrow what's happening with that.
All right, let's take a listen to minute 46 of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Contains the name of every ape who over the past year has been guilty of an overt act of disobedience.
The charge against them is nonsense.
It will do for my purposes. They constitute the hard core of our problem, and I'm going to crush them once and for all.
You will not crush them, sir. You will only further aggravate the problem. This action is folly.
and I wish to protest it in the strongest possible terms.
Very well, Mr. McDonald. Your protest has been duly noted. From now on, you have but one assignment: to find that talking ape.
What is this? A red alert?
Sort of. Ape management computers come up with a rather intriguing error. Shipment 507I for Indonesia.
As of minute 46, we have a courtyard's worth of gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, imported apes, Caesar, and a planet's worth of humans, well, -1 Armando.
Oh, why isn't I forgotten the sadness that goes along with that when we stop down for how many ever weeks until we get going again?
It's been a bit, yeah. Armando's not here.
All right. So here we are back and knee deep in this. It's almost like, I'm trying to find that mood to get us back into talking about this again. The thing that strikes me right away again is this almost single tone delivery of this movie, that there are no ups and downs. You can go watch movies and they can be oppressive. They can be all these things, but this movie really wants to be one tone and one tone only.
Well, I mean, Breck himself is not nuanced. We talked at some point about wanting to get his backstory with his wife,
right,
and his daughter, and we just kind of get the same. I'm angry all the time. I feel like everything is awful. Conspiracy this, conspiracy that. There's no joy in what he's doing, and so this is just kind of more of the same of him just being this one note character.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the very next sentences in this minute is when he's going. His assistant McDonald comes in and says, these charges are nonsense. And he goes, well, that'll do for my purposes. He's just, plowing through no matter what.
He's a character that exists for one purpose only, and that's to be a foible to our hero. I don't know what our hero's journey is right now, but he is meant solely to be an obstacle.
But what is his purpose? So, I mean, what is his grand plan here? Because the apes are supposed to be a benefit to their society. They're doing all the shit work that, the humans don't want to do. But he hates them. So is he trying to get rid of all the apes? Is he only trying to get rid of troublemakers? I mean, because you would think if he get rid of all the apes, the remaining humans are not going to be happy that their servants are now gone.
I agree with that. And I think a lot of this goes back to things we were discussing before, that there's not a real clear narrative that is occurring about. First off, we want to talk about what's his purpose, what's his push, what is Caesar pushing for right now, other than sort of just.
Well, he's mad that that he was separated from Armando and now Armando's dead. I think if he had gotten back with Armando somehow and they left the city, he wouldn't have cared about the rest of the apes.
Maybe you're right. I find all of it lacking in a focus that was even more apparent to me after being away for a few weeks. So
yeah.
So we open up. Breck is having this conversation about the Achilles list. He is standing over that weird little illuminated hockey table that they've got set up in the control room.
Yeah, the World War II map where you push things around with a stick. This one just has to be illuminated.
Yeah. He's got that set up. McDonald has.
I want one of those.
You want one of those?
Yes.
We have McDonald who has his arms crossed like in every other scene. Like he's just he does. They don't really give McDonald much to do. He's just kind of walking around all the time, not even really pushing paper. He's just kind of there off to the side, but he's kind of moving through the shot. We've got, we're getting a little bit better display of the monitors they have on the right side of the screen, and they've got this one little digital monitor that's kind of. Yeah, it's got the little line that's just wiggling up on it. Little blue wiggly line going up and down that I don't know. Who knows what that's supposed to be displaying? But it's futuristic.
They're not blinking in order anymore.
So McDonald kind of throws a little bit back on him about the Achilles list. He kind of pushes back just a little bit like McDonald's role. And then what's interesting is for script-wise, after we get to this moment with Breck talking about the McDonald's list and Breck talking about the Achilles list and McDonald pushing back the charges against them is nonsense. We then jump 5 pages in the script. All of that stuff that we talked about before in previous minutes with Caesar seeing the Caesar learning about the death of Armando, Caesar going outside and seeing the sign, the apes kind of all rising up, the scene in the restaurant with the waiter ape. All that stuff was supposed to happen after this little conversation in the control room.
Oh.
But instead, we get through McDonald saying, "I protest it in the strongest possible terms." To a cut to, you ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A tubby finger. So the script specifically uses the phrase "a tubby finger," and it's Hoskins. So I guess Hoskins. Oh wait, sorry. There was one clip. There was a clip of the fire thing before that.
Can we call him Tubby Finger from now on?
Yeah, I mean, poor Hoskins. You know, when they had to go through this to cast this particular actor, they had to go all the way through, 2/3 of the script to find out that he's got a tubby finger.
That also sounds like a medical condition. Oh man, I woke up this morning with a bad case of tubby finger.
So sorry, I didn't mean to. Sorry, I jumped ahead. There is one cut scene of Caesar grabbing a tank and showing fire.
So real quick before we move on to, I do want to call out the wonderful cinematography of Bruce Surtees, you can go look at his, he's no longer with us, but his list of films that he worked on. If you can't find something there and have enjoyed, it would be shocking. He does a wonderful job of doing something that in cinematography many people don't realize, and that is that people of color have to be photographed with different amounts of lights and things like that, so that their skin reads. You can obviously shoot them, but it comes off almost like you don't even care. And that shot of McDonald when he comes to the lens, it's like, oh, we got a cinematographer who knows. And the reason it even came to me again was that I just watched the wonderful Eddie Murphy. Dolomite Is My Name, that is on Netflix, and they even talk about we need a cinematographer. You shoot black people different, is what they say in that. Man, that shot of McDonald when he comes to the lens is so beautifully lit, and his skin is so alive. I just had to say that there's so many times we kind of knock the things that go on. That was beautifully done.
Gotta know all your lights, your eye, your key, your fill, your set, your kicker, your backside, down, all those.
Very nice, Sean.
I had to memorize that for something in college, and it's always stuck with me.
Sorry, just to clarify what I said. We start in the control room with Breck and McDonald. We then cut to a scene with a flamethrower.
Yeah.
Kind of tank thing. And then cut back to Hoskins' tubby finger.
Oh, okay. Well, before we get to the flamethrower and stuff, so I want to protest in the strongest possible terms. Well, technically, isn't that a revolution? You're protesting in the strongest possible terms? And that what the apes are doing, potentially?
I'm sorry, what?
Could you not hear me?
No, I can hear you. I guess I didn't understand what you were saying.
All right. So McDonald, he's saying, hey, I want to protest against this in the strongest possible terms. And
yes.
To which the governor goes, duly noted, which we all know that means just go fuck off. But it's not protesting in the strongest possible terms, revolution, which is what the apes are doing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that may be more relevant when we get to kind of the end of the week, when we get to the Friday discussion about what's going on. But there is I feel like the parallels that are being drawn between civil rights with McDonald and the apes is a little muddy. I don't think it's very clear. I think we're supposed to read into that, and maybe audiences at the time are reading into that. But I think Dane doesn't really give McDonald enough dialogue to draw the parallels between them.
So can we?
Anyway, sorry, your flamethrower.
Let's jumping into the room now with the torch. Can we discuss that?
Yeah.
So one thing that hits me right away, the makeup, they really did a great job, because later in this week and later in the movie as well, we get some nice close-ups of Caesar, and you see how this makeup is really now holding up to the scrutiny of a lens being right on it. Could nobody powder the damn ape to the right of Caesar?
Yeah, that's the shiny one.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
He looks like he was wet.
Well,